Paul Kagame isn't shy about addressing Western media directly. In this video, we're showcasing a powerful speech where he lectures journalists, challenging their narratives and demanding a fair portrayal of Africa. His words are bold and unapologetic, setting the record straight. Let's dive into this impactful moment. Kagame's Speech 1. In this interview, Paul Kagame addresses criticisms about Rwanda's governance and human rights record. He acknowledges that Rwanda, like any country, has issues but questions the intensity of external criticism, especially when many of these same issues were overlooked in Rwanda's past government, a regime responsible for the genocide that killed nearly 1 million people. Kagame points out the double standards, noting that these critics expect Rwanda to be passive while they freely pass judgment without offering Rwanda the freedom to respond. Kagame emphasizes that Rwanda has made significant progress. Families are more secure, children can attend school, and citizens generally live better lives. He argues that the international narrative often contrasts with the reality on the ground, where Rwandans have experienced positive changes like increased life expectancy and improved living standards. For Kagame, true freedom is not just a political concept, but one that includes the right to a stable, secure life, freedom from hunger, violence, and insecurity. Kagame concludes by questioning why a government would invest in healthcare, education, and security only to deny its people freedom. He challenges critics to see the reality of Rwanda's improvements rather than rely on selective narratives, hinting that Rwanda's progress should be acknowledged fairly without ignoring the country's past struggles.
You are exactly depicting me in that light because you think I shouldn't be answering back or asking or raising questions about what you are saying about me. That is denying people freedom. This freedom, democracy, people have turned it into something, a subjective tool, just to use. You know, if you have a voice, you have media, you have power, you have money, then you are controlling this. Everybody else is supposed to accept what you are saying there and what you are saying they are doing, whether it is right or wrong, whether it is true or not. This is the problem. I'm glad you actually raised this question because it's been there for many years. It is still there as we speak. Because if you hear some people, it's not all of them. I think many understand. What they say about Rwanda, they think this is the worst country you have on earth. But then sometimes, when in another circumstance, they are telling a good story about Rwanda. Say, oh, Rwanda thinks, oh, is this. So how do these two contradict? In fact, the contradiction is more in that than what you stated earlier. The contradiction is, how do you say this on this side, so much is wrong and bad, but on the other, there is so much that is good that is happening. So, but these things that are good are happening by who? It is the same people you are saying. I mean, somebody is not hungry, a family is not hungry, they are able to send children to school to study, then they have security, nobody tampers with them. But he said, except they lack the freedom. Which freedom? Freedom. Somebody is already having freedom to live, to be there. You saw the Rwandans live now on average up to 60 something close to it. why would a country invest in that only to deny the same person? Does it really make sense? Does it add up? It doesn't, for me, it doesn't add up. But by the way, the same complaints that are being raised about Rwanda now were not even a fraction of it was raised against the government that murdered 1 million people here. Meaning, they had the freedom. They had everything, maybe. But really, the Rwanda of 30 years ago, did it have freedom? Did it?
Kagame's speech 2. In this interview, Paul Kagame addresses criticism of Rwanda's democracy and human rights record, mainly from Western nations. He acknowledges that no democracy is perfect and points out the hypocrisy of Western nations criticizing Rwanda while dealing with their own democratic issues. Kagame finds it problematic that these critics expect Rwanda to change based on their standards, even though they face similar or worse issues within their own systems. Regarding his long tenure in power, Kagame explains that Rwandan elections are about people choosing their leader freely. He emphasizes that international criticism does not focus on election fairness, but rather on the idea that he has been re-elected multiple times, which some argue contradicts democratic norms. Kagame argues that if his people are content with his leadership, then external perspectives should not dictate Rwanda's political choices. Kagame also highlights that discussions on term limits vary across Africa, where some countries prefer 2 terms while others may allow longer tenures if their populations are supportive. He stresses that Rwanda's path should be based on what works for its people, not on outside pressure. Kagame concludes by saying he's open to criticism, but he reserves the right to critique others in return, especially when Rwanda's system is questioned by those with their own internal challenges.
Have not been free or fair, but we have had it in other places that people don't even talk about, including even people who complain about us. So don't you have, right now as we speak, we are having cases in the developed world about elections.
Right.
You remember not so long ago, there is a case going on somewhere in a very advanced democracy about
yes, in the United States, yes.
Somebody who wants to. So this is, I think people have to decide what they want to do for themselves. You see, you have problems of your own that somebody should be questioning, and then you want to, be the one to dictate what I should be doing. At the same time, even with the contradiction, because if you are talking about elections, and the election is about people choosing.
Yes, sir, but there could be.
You are saying if it is free and fair, but that has not been the accusation. The accusation is different. Even the one you started, you are not talking about how free or not free the elections are. You are talking about just having to choose so many times. I think that this is different.
Right, but people could say, I'm not going to be president for life. There should be limits.
Which people are you talking about?
Well, you have debates in many African countries about 2 terms. I mean, we've had it, you're having it in Senegal, in Ivory Coast, and others, because they say a person after a while in power should leave and maybe...
That's fine. That's fine. I have no problem with that. But people can also say a different thing. So which one are you supposed to accept? People can say that, yes, and I would accept it. But if they said the other one also, I would accept it. So what is the issue here? Anyway, why would anyone be so concerned about our own situation, which the people of Rwanda seem to be happy about, that is working for them, but somebody says, no, that's not true. That should not happen in Rwanda. We haven't been questioning what is happening elsewhere. As I said, if you criticize me, I'll criticize you, because there are things somebody is doing that are not right, even against me, and then he comes around and starts blaming me for what I'm doing that is working for me. For me, I'm just even basing on simple logic.
Let us know in the comment section what you think of the video. That wraps up the video for today, guys. We hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe to Insight TV, leave a thumbs up, and of course share the video. Until the next time, see you in the next video.